What's going on, everyone? Welcome back. Today I wanted to showcase a Starmie team in the Color Cup. Starmie's been one of my favorite Pokemon just ever since the Psywave buff. A very flexible pick, especially with Ice Beam here in the Color Cup. It's a fantastic Pokemon. If you want to see my battles live, I stream daily at twitch.tv/ItsAXN, where you can see live insights into my gameplay and see my teams early. I'd love to see you there. The link to that is down in the description. But without further ado, let's get into the battles and see what this Starmie team can do. Alright, game number one, what are we going to see? We're going to have our Abomasnow in the lead up against a Shadow Alolan Golem. A little bit of a tricky lead matchup, but Starmie, as long as they are running Rollout, which they are, is able to deal with this matchup. With that said, they instantly swap out here to a Decidueye. This Pokemon is a Ghost and Grass type, one of the best answers actually for Starmie in this meta. With that said, I can go for this Ice Beam before we get Astonished down, get a guaranteed shield, and now the Psywaves are putting them just about at half health right now. In comes our Abomasnow to try to get a farm down against them. This is awkward if they have Brave Bird, they can basically one-shot us here, but I'm going to no-shield expecting a Spirit Shackle, which is exactly what it is this time, and now we will have to show up the next move, but I might get a decent farm down here, where maybe I can go for Energy Balls or Weather Balls potentially against that Alolan Golem when they come back in. They do go for that Spirit Shackle. I don't think they got a debuff on us just yet, and we get a full fast move down. We have a lot of energy here. In comes that Golem. Once again, we have the Weather Ball bait, and if I land this bait properly, I can go for an Energy Ball potentially and get the one shot. We do get the bait here. We can't quite reach the Energy Ball though before they get a charge move, so I'm going to try to catch it on our Quagsire. Unfortunately, we don't quite get it, but we are able to see their backline Pokemon is going to be a Jump Off. We have Stone Edge, we have a Shield advantage, and an Energy advantage. This should be a decent matchup as long as we can call a bait move right now. Quagsire would get one shot by an Energy Ball, but an Air Release bait would do nearly nothing to us right now. I'm going to call it. In comes the bait here, and that should win us the game. GG's to our opponent, beating the double grass with our double water team. All right, next matchup, another Alolan Golem. Not what we want to see, but we saw in that last game. We have play against this. Just go for our Starmie, try to get some Psywave energy, but this time a Shadow Feraligatr actually going to respond to us. This is a little bit more tricky because these Shadow Claws are super effective. I don't have Thunder. I actually don't have any charge move pressure against this because I don't have Power Gem either. I do have Ice Beam and Surf, which won't do too much, but after the Psywave damage, Surf will still likely draw a shield from this thing. Maybe we can get a shield advantage against this and still have a bit of a chance later on this game. Surf number 2 will outpace this Feraligatr because of our energy lead right now. Surf is going to draw the shield, and now we do have 2 shields to 0. Maybe I can get a nice Powder Snow down against this and go for an Energy Ball against that Shadow Alolan Golem in the backline. If that is the case, maybe we still have to play this game. We'll have to see, though, if they can reach a lot of moves with this Gator before I get that full farm down. Ice Beam ends up coming through here, and because we were able to shield it up properly, I don't think they get to 2 more charge moves, probably just 1 more Ice Beam, which will do a lot of damage, but not quite enough to knock us out. Ice Beam does end up landing. I have to watch to see what's going to come in here. Is it the Golem? Is it the final Pokemon? It is going to be the Golem, which is going to be a Pokemon that would probably knock us out with that rollout, so I'm going to throw instantly and now see what the final Pokemon is going to be. In comes the Jump Off. I instantly swap out because I know I'm not at the Weather Ball, and if there is something in the backline I need to get a Stone Edge off against as soon as possible, then I need to just swap into my Quagsire, but I know they'd outpace us to the Energy Ball at this point, so I'm just trying to get any sort of trip damage that I can. They would have one-shot us if I didn't throw this Aqua Tail. I'm just trying to put them into range where Weather Ball will knock them out, but I don't know if I have a Weather Ball stored. At this point, 2 Aqua Tails have landed. They are in range where if I have a Weather Ball, they're going to get knocked out, but they also are at back-to-back charge moves with both an Energy Ball and an Air Release. Do I have the charge move loaded? No, we are 1 Powder Snow off. Maybe if I would have banked a move by coming in and doing 1 more Powder Snow against that Golem when we knocked them out, maybe I could have had a chance this game. I don't know if that rollout would have knocked us out or not, but if I tried to do a little bit more energy management, maybe we could have won that one. GG's to them. Another terrible lead here for our Abomasnow. Unfortunately, it's going to be a Toxapex, but I have my Starmie safe swap, and in comes a Gastron. This is by no means an answer here to Starmie, especially with the amount of energy that we have. I think we might be able to flip this matchup. With that said, our Shadow Quagsire in the backline, still not the hardest answer to a Toxapex, and I have no idea what their third Pokemon is going to be at this point. Maybe it's a triple water lineup. I guess we'll just have to wait and see, but it could still be somewhat tricky in the backline for our Abomasnow. With that said, Starmie is trying its best here in this middle matchup, going for Surfs and Psywaves, trying to whittle down this Gastrodon as much as possible. They do double shield here. I think we can survive just enough Mud Slap damage to reach a third Surf, getting us switch advantage and hopefully knocking out this Gastrodon. In comes the next Body Slam. We are able to survive that final Mud Slap, get to the Surf just barely, and this should be more than enough to knock out the Gastrodon and get a switch advantage right now. What's going to come in? Do we see the final Pokemon? It is going to be the Jump Off, actually. They get a massive Fairy Wind down here, which is a little bit scary, but our Abomasnow can come in, go for a Weather Ball potentially, but we end up 1 turn lagging, so instead of having a Weather Ball right now, we are 1 move away. I have to do 1 more Powder Snow if I want to get it. Acrobatics nearly one-shots us, but we bank the Weather Ball right now. In comes that Toxapex. This endgame is going to get a little bit tricky here. I got that 1 turn lag, which could be very, very annoying for us right now on our Abomasnow. That's 1 less Powder Snow of damage. We might actually need all the fast pressure we can get against that Jump Up later in the game. If that is the case, then that is going to be very unfortunate, but our Quagsire still is going to try its best here to whittle down not only this Toxapex, but also that Jump Up later on this game. In comes the next move. Sludge Wave does do more raw damage, but they probably aren't quite there yet. Yeah, it's just going to be a Brine, but these Poison Jabs might knock us out. I have to go for an Aqua Tail here. We're at back-to-back, but my Quagsire is so low at this point that I'm not sure if I can actually survive long enough to get a Stone Edge. I'm just going to have to go for the Aqua Tail at this point and hope that I can go for a Weather Ball, knock them out with that charge move, and win the game that way. But I don't know. Is this Weather Ball range? It's a non-Shadow Jump Off. Weather Ball is not the strongest move. If this doesn't knock out, they might just be able to Fairy Wind all of my Pokemon down. Weather Ball doesn't quite knock out. We actually survived the Fairy Wind on 1 HP, just barely getting the Simul KO Quagsire in the back, winning us that game. Alright, next matchup here, it's going to be a bit of a neutral lead, probably the best lead we've seen, even though it's a Steel-type Pokemon here into our Abomasnow. They end up swapping out to a Shadow Alolan Marowak, and this endgame is going to be a little bit tricky depending on if they can flip switch advantage here. With that said, it's just going to be a Bone Club or a Shadow Bone. I know it's not going to one-shot us, but it is Shadow into Shadow. It's going to do a little bit more damage than I would have expected, and they got a defense drop here. There's a chance, actually, that they could go and shield up and try to farm us all the way down. If they do that, that could be a little bit annoying, but I will get both shields in the process. In comes our Aqua Tail right now. This should get the knockout if they let it go. It's a Shadow Fire-type Pokemon. Yeah, it's going to have to shield. These Mudshots have done a lot of damage, but they end up winning Switch Advantage, which could be a little bit tricky depending on what their final Pokemon is going to be. I'm going to have to shield this up. I'm almost expecting a Bone Club bait here. It's probably just always going to be a bait, but I have to shield it up. A Shadow Bone would one-shot us, but now in comes another charge move. This time they didn't even bait, though. That's just going to be a Bone Club. I can let this go. They just want to get a bit of chip damage, it looks like, against us. In comes the Bone Club. We can farm them all the way down and have a lot of energy potentially for the backline. Their final Pokemon, unfortunately, going to be the Toxapex here. Ferrothorn is going to be a great answer for our Starmie, and Toxapex is a great answer for Abomasnow. Energy Ball is going to start adding up here, but I don't know if we have quite enough in the tank to win this game. We are going to be able to maybe reach another Energy Ball if they let us. Yeah, they're going for a full farm down here, which is a little bit awkward, but might be able to put it into range where we can knock them out with the Surf, make it so all of this energy is going to go down the drain. If we could have got that Weather Ball and knocked them out, maybe we could have got all that energy off against them and then use this energy against the Ferrothorn, but because I had to go for the Surf here, I don't know if I have just enough HP in the bank to reach enough charge moves against this Ferrothorn. I know that Starmie would be able to reach the 2 charge moves before the 2 Power Whips are reached, but I think the Bullet Seeds are just doing a little bit too much damage. Ice Beam is going to come through, but I don't think I can reach the Surf here. We get Bullet Seeded down right before I reach the charge move, and unfortunately do end up losing that match. Alright, next game, a Kingdra. Alright, this is a very neutral lead matchup. It's a Dragon type into an Ice type. You'd expect it to be very good for us, but since they are also a Water type Pokemon, they are not weak to Ice necessarily, but we are still able to spam out these charge moves very quickly. Weather Ball is going to actually land there, and now I can outpace them before they can get to an Outrage to this next Weather Ball. I would very much expect them to shield this at this point, try to go for a farm down against us. Honestly, I don't even know if they can farm us down, because I did land that move. These Powder Snows are adding up. Our opponent actually going to be forced to throw a charge move against our Abomasnow. I can farm this down with either my Shadow Quagsire or with my Starmie. I feel like energy on Starmie is normally a little bit more useful, because I can go for Ice Beams against things in the backline, like a Jump Fluff, any sort of Grass type. Oh, but it's going to be a Morpeko in the backline, actually, a Pokemon that our Starmie really doesn't want to see, but our energy lead is going to allow us to just barely outpace them to an Aura Wheel with this Surf, and they end up letting it go, nearly one-shotting a Morpeko with a move that's not even super effective here. Mudshot damage should be enough to put them into Psywave range. They don't even go for a Psychic Finks or a Seed Bomb. They actually full send the Aura Wheel. Very interesting play. And final Pokemon going to be a Jumpluff here this game. Jumpluff obviously is a very scary Pokemon to see, but I have Ice Beam on our Starmie, so if they ever end up using their shield, which they do on that first move, now I just let my Quagsire go. I know I can invest in my Starmie, go for an Ice Beam here, and we should be able to win this game. There's a chance they also bait us, and if they do that, that's even better for us right now. That is going to be the case, actually. They go for an Aerial Ace bait. That's fantastic for us. Now we can go for a Stone Edge, and maybe even put them into range where a Surf plus a Psywave damage could KO this flying Grass-type Pokemon here. In comes the next charge move from them in just a second. They want to throw before I get even more chip damage against them. I'm going to no-shield, and Aerial Ace still doesn't knock us out, but they go for an Acrobatics, so they're running double flying charge moves. As long as they don't get a catch this game, I should be able to be in a very good spot. I just have to shield up the Acrobatics and make sure that they don't catch if I want to win. Acrobatics does get thrown, and in comes the catch. I see them stop tapping. I knew they were trying to wait the turns there, and now we have the Ice Beam loaded for the Jump Fluff. GG's to our opponent. Next matchup, Abomasnow up against a Quillfish, a Poison and Water-type Pokemon. Not exactly what we want to see here, but Starmie can safe swap in, do quite a bit of fast food pressure. They haven't swapped out just yet, and in comes a Jump Fluff. This is what Ice Beam's for. Psywave is doing so much damage, not only to that Quillfish, but even to this Jump Fluff, which is kind of a bulky Pokemon. It's taking quite a bit of fast food pressure here. I'm going to full send. I want a shield here if I can get it. In comes the shield from this opponent, and now they're going to throw instantly. I'm going to no shield just in case it's going to be an Aerial Ace, but it might also just be an energy ball if they want to get a knockout against us. No, they go for the bait. I could have CMP'd here on the surf, but I wanted to also reach the Ice Beam just in case they didn't throw instantly. That is a lot of energy down the drain for our opponent right now, but a one-turn lag might actually end up costing us the farm down here. If that one-turn lag didn't happen, I get one extra Powder Snow. I think I'd only take one Aerial Ace, but because I'm getting one less Powder Snow through, I think they will survive on 1 HP and get a final charge move off. Yeah, that is exactly what's going to happen here. I have to shield because of that, but I do have a lot of energy. I know Quillfish took quite a bit of Psywave damage as well, so potentially I can knock them out with either an energy ball or go for a bait and then try to knock them out with an energy ball after the fact if they end up shielding this charge move. While their ball is going to get shielded, we are very close to the energy ball of our own right now, and they opt to CMP us here, likely with an Aqua Tail. With that said, I want to get this damage off. I know there's a very high chance of another grass type in the back line, so if Abomasnow can do anything, it's going to be by keeping it alive, maybe getting to another charge move, and then hoping Shadow Quagsire is going to be able to close out the game. In the back line, what? Okay, this is very surprising. A Shiftry? This Pokemon hard answers our Starmie. I got bailed out so hard by them not bringing that in here, but because Abomasnow is able to still reach that charge move and farm them down, our Quagsire doesn't even need to use anything that game. We just end up winning with Abomasnow. That is crazy. We could have lost that game in an instant if they came in with that Shiftry against our Starmie, but that is totally fine by me. All right, next game, an Alolan Golem, and then a Ferrothorn in the back. That is not what you want to see, unfortunately. Our Starmie is going to try its best to either get a shield advantage here or maybe knock out this Ferrothorn and win a switch advantage. If I land the Ice Beam, you can see that these Psywaves are actually doing quite a bit of damage, and they even let us get to a Surf here before they're going to end up knocking us out with either a Power Whip or potentially whatever charge move they're going to throw. In comes the first charge move. They are back-to-back, but there's a chance I can just shield this, Psywave all the way down, and even win the 1-0 shield matchup here with our Water type against the Steel and Grass type. That is huge for us right now. I have switch advantage. My Shadow Quagsire will be able to line up into that Golem, and in comes an Amoonguss here. Psywave is doing super effective damage, but these Astonishes as well are adding up against us. Surf does end up landing, which is honestly for the best here, right? I want to get as much fast move pressure against him as I can. I'm going to no shield. Normally it's going to be Grass Knot and Foul Play. Abomasnow can take either one of those moves, but Sludge Bomb actually going to be very worrisome for us right now. They end up sniping us down with a rollout as well, and now this is going to be a bit of an interesting endgame actually, but I don't think that we're in that bad of a spot right now. We can get a full farm down against this Golem, shield up a potential Wild Charge here. I know Wild Charge would do quite a bit of damage to us, but as long as I can shield up one move, we're going to be in a very good spot. They actually go for a Rock Blast bait there. Do they go for the Wild Charge now, or are they not even running it? Rock Blast number 2. Okay, I guess they're not throwing Wild Charge, which is fantastic for us. Means that they're not going to be able to fast move farm down us as quickly. In comes the first Aqua Tail. Looks like I will have to throw 3 Aqua Tails here to win this game. I do basically have them all back to back to back, though. Just one more Mudshot to get the next 2 loaded up and ready to go. They shielded once, they are probably going to shield twice, but this third one is finally going to be able to land right before a Grass Knot or a Foul Play, or I guess another Sludge Bomb is going to be reached. Shadow Quagsire able to close out this game and win us that match against, once again, a double Grass lineup with this double Water team. Alright, next matchup here, a Charjabug in the lead. Honestly, you'd think this is a pretty bad core breaker, right? We have a Grass type in the lead, a Psychic and Water type in the back, but Abomasnow in this matchup, especially in like the Zero Shield matchup, is not that bad. We outpaced to 2 Weather Balls, and we can survive an X Scissor, forcing them to throw 2 charge moves against us. Yeah, you can see that this isn't that bad, right? We can soft lose this matchup, make it so our Starmie hopefully is going to have more play in the backline, and Shadow Quagsire might not have as much room to play because obviously this Pokemon is a little bit weak to ground type damage, so Quagsire likely not having much play, but Starmie should be in a very good spot. Weather Ball number 2 doesn't quite get the knockout, but it will force him to throw energy pretty early on here. I can Psywave this down, or maybe even Mudshot down. We'll have to see how our opponent wants to play out this matchup. They actually instantly swap into a Cradily, a Pokemon that I really didn't want to see here, because it obviously is going to be able to go for a lot of Grass-type damage, not only against my Starmie, but also against my Quagsire, potentially in the backline. With that said, I know a lot of the times they're going to like to go for a bait here. I'm going to try to catch a Rock Slide on Quagsire. I feel like that is our biggest win condition right now. If we actually get this catch off, which we do, that's a big waste of energy for our opponent. Although with that said, these Bullet Seeds are adding up against us quite a bit. I'm going to go for this Aqua Tail now. I know Aqua Tail should be able to knock out this Pokemon at this point. It's neutral damage, and we do actually draw a shield with our Water and Ground type Pokemon against a Grass type, which is always really nice to see. I could shield this up. I think that I actually am going to, because I can get to the next Aqua Tail here before they're going to be able to knock us out, and I want to make sure this Cradily is out of the way, potentially not taking as much damage as I can here. Maybe they're a little bit weak to our Quagsire in the back. Well, that's not necessarily weak to Quagsire. Honestly, this is a bit of an awkward spot to be in. That's going to be a Pokemon that has a lot of bulk to it. It's pretty spammy with these Body Slams as well, and our Starmie with the chip damage that we've taken is probably in range where a Body Slam would be able to knock us out or put us into range where Mud Slaps will knock us out later on. I'm going to try my best, though. Build up to 2 surfs here. Maybe I can draw a shield. Maybe I can knock them out as well if we can end up getting to another charge move, but they also have that charge bug in the back line. Right now, I'm hoping that they try to make a catch and that I can Psywave down before they're able to Volt Switch me down, but unfortunately, they do try to go for the Volt Switch down. They end up surviving the fast pressure and taking me out with charge bug. All right, next game, another terrible lead matchup. It's going to be a Toxapex. This is what our safe swap's for. Starmie is going to come in here. Looks like they're not swapping out instantly, which is actually fantastic for us right now. Psywaves are chunking this Toxapex extremely hard. They're already below half health, and at this point, I am not that worried about this Toxapex, even if it gets locked into our Abomasnow later on. And unfortunately, we don't have a good charge move here, but Surf is still going to do quite a bit of damage. We can reach another Surf before the next Brine. I think they did end up baiting us here on that first charge move, but that's totally fine. Starmie is going to be able to still win this matchup the longer it goes on, thanks to only our fast move pressure. Surf number 2 ends up getting no-shielded, and in comes a Charizard, actually, of all things. This Pokemon is a little bit scary up energy, especially the Dragon Breath variant is going to have a lot of play into us, but I'm expecting another Fire type in the backline. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to come in with our Grass and Ice type into the Fire-type Pokemon, knowing that Abomasnow likely has its best matchup right here. I'm going to shield up a potential Blast Burn and hope that our Shadow Quagsire in the backline should be able to close out this game. Blast Burn does end up getting shielded up here. I have a Weather Ball ready to go against this Talonflame. I'm going to throw it just to make sure they're in range, where an Aqua Tail will definitely knock them out. In comes the Weather Ball. It chips them down quite a bit. Aqua Tail doesn't one-shot, and a Stone Edge, I don't want to have to build up to that much energy to knock out this Talonflame, so getting that chip damage is going to be absolutely crucial. I know I survived a Brave Bird, but our opponent actually goes for a Fly instead, which is a very interesting play. We have quite a bit of health left over on our Shadow Quagsire, which honestly could be a bad thing right now. If they no-shield this and they end up coming with their Charizard, farming us all the way down, this could be bad if they end up getting to a Blast Burn before we're able to get to our next Weather Ball. In comes the Aqua Tail here. This is a lot of energy, though, for the Charizard. A huge farm. I'm 2 away from my move. I 1-turn lag. They get 5 Dragon Breaths instead of 4, which lets them get to this Blast Burn on CNP. I'll just see it. This game is great. 1-turn lag left and right, ending up losing us that matchup here, but I guess that's fine. We tried to play it out. Honestly, I'm just proud I made the call of coming in with our Abomasnow into that Charizard. It was the right call. 1-turn lag was not the right thing to have happen there, though, at the end of the game. Another Toxapex lead in this game. I'm going to try out the same play, come in with our Starmie, and it's going to be an ABA Poison-type team, actually, with our opponent this time, running Toxapex in the lead, and then obviously this Amoonguss in the backline. Psywave is super effective, but Astonish is super effective against us. We draw a shield, actually, with that first charge move, and now I have a decision to make. Do I go for a full farm down with our Abomasnow, or do I try to get a second shield from this before I'm going to be able to get Astonished down with our Starmie? I'm going to go for that shield, try to make sure that shields are completely down this game, knowing that Shadow Quagsire, when shields are down, does have quite a bit of play into most of the meta. I can come back into Abomasnow, hope that this time they're not running Sludge Bomb. If they are, that is absolutely catastrophic, but if they aren't, I'm not that worried about what's going to happen. Foul play would probably put us about half HP. This time it is just a foul play, so not as much damage. I have a full-on Energy Ball coming out of this matchup that we can use potentially later on, and in comes a Decidueye, actually. Decidueye, a very tricky Pokemon to see, but we have a lot of energy on our Quagsire. We have an energy lead and a shield advantage, which might let us flip this matchup. We have to shield up here. Unfortunately, a Spirit Shackle does end up debuffing our defense stat. Not exactly what we want to see, but I have to go for these Stone Edges, knock out this Decidueye as soon as possible, and start chipping down that Toxapex if I can. I'm going to throw this Aqua Tail right here when I can, because I know at this point the only way I can win this game is if I can land either a Stone Edge against that Toxapex, or maybe even just an Aqua Tail, put them into Energy Ball range. Our opponent not actually going for the Brine before I get the Stone Edge. They likely want to have back-to-back charge moves, but by letting me get this move off, I have that Energy Ball banked. I can swap combo play this Toxapex. They were not expecting this in the slightest. Energy Ball should be enough to either knock out or put them into fast move farm down range. No, it is just enough to take out the Toxapex and win us that match. Right, Abomasnow cannot win a lead. I don't think I've seen a single actually positive lead this entire day so far. It's just been neutral at best, if not just extremely negative leads, just left and right now. But we're going to do exactly what we've been doing in the past. We save swapped our Starmie, go for the Ice Beam, guarantee a shield or a knockout. Our opponent either not expecting Ice Beam or not knowing that it would one-shot them. I don't even know why they'd let that go. In comes a Cradily, you know the play. Go for Ice Beam, either get a guaranteed knockout or a shield from this Pokemon. This is a big farm down to give them, but I don't really mind that much, because at this point, I've got a shield back. I will come in with my Abomasnow, absorb as much energy as I can, and I should be able to win this game with Shadow Quagsire into that Typhlosion in the backline. Rock Slide number 1 going to come through. Luckily not a Stone Edge, so it doesn't do quite a bit of damage to us, but this next Rock Slide will end up knocking us out if I let it through. I want to keep our Abomasnow alive if I can. knowing that our Shadow Quagsire doesn't really want to deal with this as much as we can in the backline. In comes their Shadow Typhlosion. I instantly swap out to not take an Incinerate into my Shadow Quagsire, and we will shield up this attack, knowing that a Blast Rune, even though it's resisted, Shadow into Shadow would do a massive amount of damage to our Quagsire. I'm going to go for this Aqua Tail before they can reach another charge move. If they end up shielding this, I can outpace them to another Aqua Tail. If they no-shield, which I think is the right play, then I can still get an Aqua Tail into the Cradily, and because I have an Aqua Tail here, a Weather Ball on our Abomasnow as well, they're going to be forced to no-shield this, but once they no-shield, I can farm them all the way down, and we should be able to take this matchup here just with raw fast with pressure. Quagsire taking out the Grass-type Pokemon. GG's to our opponent. Our next matchup here, Abomasnow up against Magcargo in the lead. Are you kidding me? The leads just keep getting worse and worse and worse and worse. I cannot win a lead for the life of me, and I can't win a swap either. A Ferrothorn comes in. Good stuff. Love to see this Pokemon here. I'm going to go for the Ice Beam right now, try our best to land this move. If it lands, I can maybe flip this matchup. They do have to let that go, and because of that, I'm going to try my best to flip this. Maybe I can land a Surf against this and knock them out, or maybe in the 2-shield matchup, I'm not quite sure if I can side with them down, but at this point, I kind of have to try. That's my only hope, and Surf is going to draw the shield if they want to try to win Switch Advantage. Our opponent, though, opting to let it go. Okay, I'll take it. Switch Advantage is exactly what I need right now. Magcargo is no longer going to be a big threat to our Abomasnow, and in comes once again a Cradily. This opponent triple weak to counter. That's actually crazy. I've seen a couple Poliwraths, but our opponent must not have. In comes that first shield here with our Surf. I actually can reach another charge move. I'm going to go for the Surf to make sure I can get as much damage as possible. This is a similar spot as the last game where I know that our Abomasnow is just here to sponge as much energy as possible, and our Shadow Quagsire should be able to close out this backline once this Cradily absorbs or spends all of its energy against our Abomasnow. In comes another charge move. I know at this point all I have to do, come into their Quagsire, shield the Grass Knot, farm them all the way down, go for double Aqua Tail against Magcargo, and we should have this matchup here. Our opponent will get to another Grass Knot, but at this point I have so much energy that the Magcargo is not even going to reach an overheat here before I can reach 2 Aqua Tails. In comes the Magcargo after the Mud Shot down, and if they want to play this one out, they can, but they don't even want to. GG's to our opponent. Next matchup. I can't make this up. A Talonflame in the lead. Good stuff. Love to see it. Starmie, once again, on the safe swap. Going to try its best here to flip this middle matchup. A Cradily comes in. I'm going to go for the Ice Beam. I've seen a lot of people no-shielding these grass types. I want to guarantee a shield or a ton of damage against this Pokemon. Our opponent, though, opting to shield. Very smart shield from them, and now they can go for a charge move against us. I have a choice to make. Do I want to shield this, knowing that it's likely a Rock Slide, or shield the Grass Knot? It is going to be a Grass Knot this time, actually. I tried to call the bait. Unfortunately for us, it doesn't quite work out, but now our Abomasnow will come in, try to absorb the energy from this Cradily, and maybe the backline matchup is going to be somewhat favorable for our Shadow Quagsire. I know sometimes there's not going to be another grass type, but honestly in this meta, normally it is going to be a double grass type team. It seems it's just ABB central, 2 Pokemon in the back that share a typing, and then a lead that kind of covers those 2. Our opponent, this time, not going to have a Pokemon like that, actually. It's going to be a Quagsire of their own in the back, so it's not an ABB team, it's an ABC team, being Shadow Quagsire does have quite a bit of play here. Aqua Tail gonna land. We have the energy lead. We have a shield advantage and an Quagsire that's a little bit healthier here than theirs because we are able to land our move first. In comes their Aqua Tail. It will chip us down quite a bit, but I have to no-shield the first move, knowing that at this point, that Talonflame's Fly and Brave Bird would do way more damage than an Aqua Tail. I will have to shield the second one, though, which is a little bit awkward, but potentially I do see a way I can win this game as long as I can mudshot them down before they get to another move. If I can't, I might have to try to make a catch here, which is what I have to do, unfortunately. Aqua Tail going to knock out, or not knock out, but it'll do a decent chunk of damage to our Abomasnow. They undercharge. I need right now for them to knock us out with this Incinerate. I can't give them a huge energy lead. If they get 2 Incinerates here, I'm going to lose this game. But if this Incinerate knocks us out, which it does, that's actually a good thing for us, because now they are not going to be able to reach the back-to-back charge moves before I can. Because of that catch, I am able to reach 1 Aqua Tail. I have the second one here ready to go against this Talonflame, and this should be more than enough to knock them out. And now I have that shield even left over for that Quagsire. All I have to do is mudshot them down and take the win against yet another lost lead. Alright, next matchup, Abomasnow into Shadow Alolan Golem. Another great lead. Love to see it. I'm going to safe swap our Starmie. You know the rules at this point. Just safe swap our Starmie whenever things are looking bad. Our opponent is going to throw a move actually this time before swapping out, which is interesting. I mean, I have a lot of energy. I got a lot of fast move pressure against them, which is maybe helpful. In comes the Amoonguss, a Pokemon that obviously is taking super effective Psywave damage. I'm going to go for a guaranteed shield or knockout against them. I need to get a shield back at this point. Our opponent is going to opt to shield up that attack, and now I can't quite get to the Ice Beam, but I am going to go for the Surf. I wish I would have baited that first move, but I kind of tried to bait a lot of times today. It didn't really work out, so our opponent this time making the right calls, and unfortunately that Surf going to make it so I actually get a little bit less farm than I'd like to. If this is a Sludge Bomb, that's very bad for us right now. Okay, another Sludge Bomber. This is terrible. A lot of Shadow Amoonguss running Sludge Bomb, it looks like right now. I'm going to try our best with Shadow Quagsire to close out this backline. This time, though, unfortunately, the double grass team is just a little bit too RPS for us to take down. Alright, next matchup, Abomasnow up against the The Talonflame. Lovely. I'm going to try my best here once again. Safe spot for Starmie. Try to use it as a way to neutralize it. And of course, in the backline, a grass type. Who would have thought in the Color Cup, a grass type is paired with a fire type Pokemon? I'm going to go for this Ice Beam, try our best to get shields from this if I can. They opted to shield it, actually. Okay, interesting. This is the first time a Ferrothorn has shielded up our first attack, which is actually probably the proper play on our opponent's side, because now I'm not going to be able to outpace them to the surface as easily. I'll have to go straight for Ice Beams instead, which, while it will still do a lot of damage, it won't be able to knock them out. Ice Beam number 2 is going to come through. Does my opponent opt to shield it? Okay, well, honestly, I'll take 2 shields to 1 at this point. The Ferrothorn is normally the hardest answer to the Quagsire that there could be. Normally, if it's double grass, it's going to be something like maybe, I don't know, a superior. Why would I say superior? That's like even worse probably for me. A Jumpluff, I should say, or a Decidueye, a Pokemon, that I would actually play against with our Shadow Quagsire. And if it is one of those two, then we have to play. If it's a superior, I don't know what I'm talking about. That would be terrible for us to see. But I know that Shadow Quagsire with a shield is going to have a little bit more play against that Talonflame than our Abomasnow. So I'm going to build up as much energy as I can. They are not even baiting a Flash Cannon here, so we can farm up to basically 100 energy, go for a Weather Ball here, save this energy for later in the game in case we need to snipe something down, and then use our Shadow Quagsire with a shield advantage to potentially win this match. Our opponent's staying in for just a second. They must not have a great answer to us, or maybe they just want to draw a shield before we're able to throw a charge move here. If that is the case, that's a very smart play by our opponent. No, that is exactly what we want to see, actually. A Morpeko, a Pokemon that is not in the slightest strong against our Quagsire. I'm just going to full send the Stone Edge. I know at this point it should knock out. I don't want to take a Seed-Bomb. I don't want to take a Psychic Fangs or an Orwheel. Any of that right now. I'm going to go for the Aqua Tail against them now. I have all of the energy on our Abomasnow. We might even be able to make the combo play. I guess not quite the combo play just yet. They will be able to knock us out, but they're not at back-to-back charges. They're at 1 HP. I have an Energy Ball loaded. I need to take my frustration out with all of these lost leads, go for the Energy Ball BM against this Fire and Flying type Pokemon. It's just a proper play at this point. That's just what happens when you lose every single lead of the day. So, it's how it goes. Honestly, Abomasnow not winning a lot of leads, but Starmie on the save swap, putting in so much work today, trying its best to come back from every single bad matchup that we saw. And it was a fun team to use. I don't know if Abomasnow leads the play right now. I was seeing a lot of Jumpluff before today, but for some reason today, Golem everywhere, Fire types everywhere. Abomasnow did not want to see any of those. Alright, well, thank you so much for watching today's video. If you want to see my battles live, I stream daily at twitch.tv/ItsAXN, where you can see live insights into my gameplay and see my teams early. I'd love to see you there. The link to that is down in the description. And if you want to see more videos like this, please make sure to subscribe. Thank you again for watching. Take care, and I'll see you in the next one.